Hi, I'm Joy,
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
and this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
Well, we continue this month. This is October, and it is National Women's Health Month. And we thought we would go back and pick several sound bites from previous episodes that we did that incorporate women's health.
Right.
So we picked 5 different episodes. So we'll just give a little bit of a blurb about each one and then kind of give a listen to them.
So what's great about this episode is this kind of cherry picks some of the ideas that we've talked about to help promote women's health and puts them all in one episode. So while we do want you to go back and listen to all the episodes and enjoy all the links and everything, all the information we have in the show notes, this kind of gives you like a little Cliff's Notes of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. And don't forget to get your screenings.
Yes, very important. Lifeline screening, we're all about it. Check the links in the description because we have a little benefit for our listeners. They can go and book it and get a little discount. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Not just that, but I think, wait a minute. Let me just see what else I put in there.
All right. So where are we going to start?
Okay, so I think we will start with the vagus nerve fix. And why not give a shameless plug for my book?
Yes, because it's an important book to read. You should
is.
read it. Yes.
And the reason I wrote this book specifically, it is for anyone. Men, women, anyone. But especially for women during these years, we tend to suffer more with anxiety, depression, a high stress level. So your vagus nerve is the center of it all, and we want good vagal tone. And we want to have, it affects everything in our body, from our mental to our physical health. So we picked a few sound bites from this episode, and we hope that you'll take a listen.
Here we go.
So the vagus nerve is your body's superhighway. It is the 10th cranial nerve and one of your body's longest and most intricate nerves, functioning as a two-way communication superhighway between your brain and various essential organs. Originating from the brainstem, it winds its way down through the neck, chest, and abdomen, with branches reaching out to the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. This complex network allows the vagus nerve to play a pivotal role in regulating involuntary bodily functions like heart rate, digestion, and immune response. It is a key component of the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs the body's rest and digest activities, counterbalancing the body's fight or flight response of the sympathetic nervous system. Essentially, the vagus nerve acts as a bridge connecting mind and body and ensuring they work harmoniously to maintain your health and well-being. So that's like a simple explanation of exactly what it is and how it works in our body.
All right. Before we get into those techniques about the things that you can do to improve your vagal tone, I do think it's important to talk for a second about what weakens it. So that we're a little bit more clear on how your environment and the stress you exist in can cause problems with your vagal tone. And not just those things, but there are other things too, like as you age and et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So some of them are, of course, elevated stress. And in this environment that we live in, that's a consistent thing with most people, right? Consistent high levels of stress and cortisol levels, chronic inflammation, right? We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not eating well. We're not exercising.
Getting enough
sleep, environmental toxins, all those things are stressors on our body. Trauma. So many people deal with trauma in their lives, and maybe that's unaddressed, right?
I actually think this is kind of the big one.
Yeah.
Because we experience trauma and we don't process it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a continuous loop that keeps us stuck in that state, in that fight or flight state or that fear-based state. And that's a big problem.
And this can lead to PTSD. When you have those life-threatening, possibly trauma situations in your life and your vagal tone is not healthy, it can lead to PTSD. So that's exactly what happens with so many people.
Oh, so many
Yeah.
people.
And certain medical conditions can affect vagal tone. So arrhythmias is one. So like after you've had a heart attack, reduced vagal tone has been linked to arrhythmias. Diabetes, neuropathy can affect the vagus nerve, potentially impairing its function. Direct damage to the vagus nerve, either from surgery or other injuries, can affect it. Inflammation, like we talked about, that age. Vagal tone naturally decreases with age. Your diet, a high salt diet can negatively impact vagal function. And of course, eating a lot of ultra-processed foods and not getting the nutrients that we need. And we're going to get a little bit more into that about what you should be eating. Medications, certain medications like those that increase blood pressure can also affect vagal tone. Vasovagal syncope. This condition occurs when the vagus nerve overreacts to a trigger, causing a drop in blood pressure and heart rate, potentially leading to fainting. And just before we came on, Joy and I were talking about this a little bit. This does happen to me in medical situations. And not when it's happening to me, but if I'm watching somebody else go through some kind of a medical thing, this happens to me where I feel like I want to pass out and I have to put my head between my knees. And this is directly linked to our vagal tone.
Ron's aunt, she passes out of the sight of blood. And I think that's what this is. It's a function of the vagus nerve.
Right. But if we could improve that vagal tone, that might not happen to us. So if you have a better vagal tone, then your body would be able to handle those situations. So I still need to work on mine.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we'll be watching a show on TV and I see blood or whatever, or something's going to happen. I immediately put the cover, like I'm always have like a blanket on me. I put the blanket over my head and I tell my husband, tell me when it's over. Like I cannot watch it. So that's something I need to work on.
So what do we do to start improving our vagal tone?
Okay. So one of the things that I love, and this helped me so much when I was going through what I was going through, is breathing techniques. This is one of the big ones. I write about several of them in the book, from box breathing, which is like breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4,
That's
holding,
a Navy SEAL
holding for 4.
breathing technique. That's what that is.
Yep. This one is my favorite, the 4-7-8 breath. And Andrew Weil had come up with this. And this one was what got me to sleep at night, helped me overcome panic attacks. And we're going to do this one together in a minute, but that's my favorite, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. And you do that for 4 sets.
We're not going to fall asleep if we do that, are we?
You can. And actually, I have women tell me that when they start doing that, they can't even get through the 4 sets and they're asleep.
Oh, good.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it does help. So
Good to know.
And then another one is alternate nostril breathing. So you'll do you hold one side and then breathe in, breathe out through the other, hold in. But all of the instructions are in the book, but you can actually Google those and look them up, alternate nostril breathing. So why don't we do, okay.
Wait, before we do.
Yes.
Before we do that.
Yes, let's talk about why it helps.
Well, even before we do that, we do need to say, run out and grab this book. You can get it through the link in the description of the show notes here. And it's an inexpensive book, but it's worth every penny. Please go get it and read it and use it.
I know that this can help so many people, and it's something you could take with you anywhere. I've had people tell me that now this is like their go-to if they're traveling, because then they can just like look up an exercise to do and remember. And actually, in the book, I guide you on how to come up with your own daily plan so that you have a plan every day that you can incorporate each of these things, from yoga to the breathing exercises to your food, gratitude journaling, all different things like that that can help you with vagal tone. So we're going to go into a little bit about why breathing helps with the vagal tone.
Okay.
So recall the last time you felt truly at peace, perhaps sitting by the ocean, listening to the waves, or lying in a quiet meadow surrounded by the soft rustle of leaves. In these moments, your breath likely slowed, deepened, and naturally brought you a sense of calm and clarity. This isn't just a pleasant coincidence. It's the power of your breath in action, a profound tool that influences both your mind and body, and a gateway to engaging your vagus nerve. The calming effects of breath work can bring a sense of tranquility and relaxation to your daily life. Breath work, or controlled breathing, is a direct line to your autonomic nervous system, the body's regulatory network. By modulating your breath, you effectively communicate with the vagus nerve. which is pivotal in activating the parasympathetic nervous system. This activation promotes a state of relaxation and mitigates the stress response. So it's exactly why we do it. You will be amazed at how well you feel doing breathing exercises. And so why don't we go into the 4-7-8 breath?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we'll do 2 rounds of it together. Okay. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8.
Okay.
Okay, breathe for 4. Hold for 7. Release for 8. In for 4. Hold for 7. Release for 8.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I could already feel a little bit calmer. So if you do that for a set of 4, you should feel extremely relaxed. And you can do that not just before bedtime, anytime you're feeling anxious. If you're going to go do public speaking, that's a good one. That's when I do it. If you're in the car and you're having road rage, that's another good time. Nobody has road rage. Like sitting at a light just to find some kind of peace and calm. To just do those, especially that one, you can do that anytime. Right. Any of them you could do anytime, but I love that one.
And I love this little quote that you included. Your breath is free, portable, and always with you. You don't need a spa day, just a few mindful breaths. And that is exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a great clip or a great couple of clips, I should say,
Yeah.
from that episode. There are a couple things I do think we should highlight quickly. Mm-hmm. One of them is tools that you talked about.
Yeah. So some of the tools that we can use to address our vagus nerve and help with good vagal tone is breath work. And in that episode, you saw that we did the 4-7-8 breath, which is one of my favorite ones to do. That has helped me tremendously. Cold exposure, which we didn't address during those clips, but that is one of the other ways that you can address helping your vagus nerve. So cold exposure can be anything from sticking your face in a bowl of ice cold water to submerging yourself in a cold plunge, different things like that. Humming, which
Wait. You can see my face. I'm not a big proponent of the cold exposure just because I'm too much of a wimpy wimp to do that. But
although you did it with me though, didn't you do it with me in Arizona?
Yes,
we did do it at a spa.
It wasn't Arizona. It was it was Arizona.
Yeah,
but it wasn't on a retreat. It was well, anyway, yes, we did do it. It was okay.
It was cold.
Yes, it was cold.
It was a little uncomfortable, but you do feel so good afterwards.
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
You feel good afterwards.
Yes.
And then, of course, humming, which Joy and I do frequently.
Hey, if the mood hits you, why not?
There's
Go
been
ahead.
a few episodes with humming. Laughter,
hello.
And of course, social connection, which is what Girlish Gurus is all about, right?
Yes.
So all of these things can help with our vagal tone, and we hope that you will go back and listen to the entire episode.
Yes, because there's nothing more important, in my opinion, than managing your stress in midlife and emotional regulation as you are going through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is the power of Urolithin A. Now, I am still using the serum and some of those products. And I got to tell you, I love those products. They are so good. We did this episode with Jennifer Scheinman. So here are a couple of clips from that episode that we think really encompass the ideas behind that supplement, which we think it's
amazing.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing.
First and foremost, Lorraine is the health coach, and she and I have known each other for so many years. And over the years, one of the things we have talked about quite a bit is longevity and health for menopausal women and people in general. And so everyone is jumping on that bandwagon now and talking about healthy aging and longevity. But what to you does that really mean? And what are some of the unique challenges that women face as they age?
Yeah, I mean, as we're recording this, right? It's like early in 2025, and I think longevity is like the buzzword of the year. Like everybody is talking about it, and I think it means different things to different people. I just over the weekend started the Brian Johnson documentary, like Don't Die, right? He like wants to live forever. That's not my personal goal. My goal is to live as healthy as possible for
Right.
as
There you
long
go.
as possible. And so that's really a word that I choose to focus on is something called health span, right? So
Yeah.
I'm personally not interested in living to 100 if at 70 I'm going to be, diagnosed with dementia and have to live those last 30 years of my life counting on other people. I want to live as many of those years independent, fully functioning, and doing all the things that I love to do. And so that's my mindset when it comes to the word longevity. What are the things that I can be doing now that I'm an almost 50-year-old woman? That things I wish I had done when I was younger, things that I definitely can do now to set myself up for the next 50 years being as healthy, independent, and fun-filled as possible.
That sounds good. Well, I think we are on the same track as you. We have the same philosophy, generally speaking. Okay. So, my next question is specifically in terms of longevity, what happens to women's bodies, our muscles, our general physical constitution as we age and go through menopause?
So we have a really unique trajectory compared to men as we get older, right? Men sort of go through this gradual decline. And yes, they hit andropause, which is where they start to really lose testosterone and their hormones change, but it's still a much slower decline than lucky us women. We get like pushed off the cliff,
We
basically.
get everything.
Yeah, we get it all. So as we hit, and I think this when perimenopause starts is, most of the women that I work with and my friends, right, they think like I don't have to worry about that until like my early 50s, but we actually our hormones start changing a
Yes.
lot earlier, right? They could start even in our early 40s. And so what happens is as we start to lose and specifically estrogen, but it's really like all of our hormones get a play in that, right? From insulin to cortisol, like they all come in. But estrogen's really sort of like that key driver. I when I think about hormones, I think of like, a beautiful symphony, right? Where each instrument has an important role. And if just one is out of tune, the whole symphony doesn't
Right.
really sound as right. And so, or estrogen's almost like the conductor, right? And everything else starts to kind of get out of whack. So we get pushed off the cliff. And what that happens is, I mean, estrogen plays a role in everything, to your point, from our muscles to our brain to our skin. I mean, even we're going to dive into this when we talk about urolithin A, like mitochondria, the energy centers of our cells, the things that produce energy for our cells to work. There's estrogen receptors on our mitochondria. So if you don't have as much estrogen coming in, of course, that's going to impact energy production. So it's this snowball effect. So aging becomes a lot more obvious to us because it starts to happen much more drastically and much more, rapidly even than our male counterparts.
You mentioned Urolithin A. So, what exactly is it, and where would we find it in our diets?
Yeah, so if your listeners are like, you're a what? I've never heard of that. Don't feel like you are behind the times. This is, while it's a molecule, a nutrient that has been studied for about 15 years, there wasn't really a supplement you could take. So there was no real marketing power behind that. So it wasn't really on anyone's radar. But this really well-studied molecule has such amazing potential. And I'm so excited that there's actually a way that we can get more of this. So let's start with just, yeah, where would we find it in nature? So it's something that's called a postbiotic nutrient. What that means is we actually don't find it directly in the food that we eat. Instead, we're relying on our gut to make it for us. So I think, everybody, or most people at least, right, are very familiar with probiotics, these little microbes that live inside our gut and they nourish us and they're so important to our health. But I like to think of them as these little critters, our little friends that basically we give them room and board, right? They get to live inside our gut and they actually get to eat things we can't digest, like fiber, or in the case of urolithin A polyphenol, a plant compound called an oligotannins. It's a type of polyphenol. And so they digest those things and then they pay us with these molecules, which are called postbiotics. And some more common ones that people might have heard of is vitamin K, even some of our B
Mhm.
vitamins. People who are very tuned into gut health might be familiar with short chain fatty acids like butyrate. And so these molecules, and we're just starting to unlock like hundreds of thousands of these molecules that have all these health promoting benefits that we're actually not getting directly from our food. We need our gut to make for us. And that's what urolithin A is. And then the question is, well, okay, great. What does it do for me? So if you have the right gut microbiome and if you are eating enough of the precursors, which we can dive a little bit more into what that means, and your body's making urolithin A, what it's doing is it is triggering this recycling process deep inside our cells. So I talked a little bit about the mitochondria and how important they are for creating cellular energy. And I like to think of them as little energy factories. But like any other factory, as we get older, those factories start to decline. So you have less cellular energy, and that means that your cells aren't doing their jobs as efficiently as possible. And we do have this way to recycle them naturally through exercise, but also urolithin A helps to do that. It helps trigger this recycling process. So I know that was a long-winded, very science question, but I'm happy to kind of break any of that down a little bit more.
So I know that you talked about it as being as like a postbiotic.
Correct.
And I know prebiotics feed the good. So then this is the byproduct of, what does the science show the benefits of it? Like you were talking about muscle health and things specifically that, and the mitochondria. So what exactly are the benefits of urolithin A?
So it all comes to remembering that tie to cellular energy and mitochondrial function, right? And every cell in our body, other than our red blood cells, has mitochondria. So when we really talk though about like, all right, how am I going to feel? What is that going to do? I don't care about my mitochondria. I just really want to know like, how's this going to make me feel? What the science has shown, and again, this is based on 15 years of research, that by making sure we have better cellular energy in our muscles, that's where the research really started, was in muscle. We're finding that we have improvements in muscle strength and muscle endurance. And there's 2 really well done clinical trials, which means these are actually done in human beings, and they are double-blind, placebo-controlled, which is sort of the gold standard. So you either got a placebo or you got urolithin A. No diet was changed, no exercise was changed, and we noticed significant improvements in muscle strength and muscle endurance, which is really pretty incredible when you aren't changing diet or exercise. So specifically, like just after 8 weeks, when you took 1,000 milligrams, these were people who were over 65, we saw a 17% improvement in muscle endurance. Yeah. So, and especially if you think about like a 65-year-old person who's not exercising, that can be such a great help. And then in middle-aged adults, just after 16 weeks with 500 milligrams, 12% improvement in hamstring muscle strength. So again, tie that into somebody who maybe is exercising, but we're going through that perimenopause phase where we're starting to lose muscle. This could be something that could help to keep your muscles healthy. And another thing that's cool about both of these studies that I think, since we're sort of talking to a women's audience, is women are generally very underrepresented in clinical research.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a lot. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So these studies actually, I think one study was about 60%, one was 70%. Don't quote me on that, but definitely well over 50% of the population was women, either 45 to 60 or 65 and older. So we know that it is going to work in specifically our population.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Urolithin A, really, Lorraine, I think you should talk about this because you're the one who's better at this kind of sciencey stuff. You know, I'm not the sciencey.
Okay.
11D is my favorite number. Yes.
Okay, so after listening to those clips or watching it on YouTube, some of the highlights are that urolithin A supports our mitochondrial health and our strength. And Jennifer talked about how muscle strength improved with women in certain age groups, and then I discussed, I'm not sure if I put it in that clip in there, but how it affected me personally. I found like I had so much more energy, but it was like a subtle change. It took about 3 months where I was really noticing, hey, I'm not hating this exercise anymore, kind of thing.
Always a benefit.
Yes. And so there's a quote. It's like giving your cells a personal trainer is really what urolithin A is. It's an amazing, amazing supplement, and we highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
So, of course, there will be a link with a discount code in the show notes.
Yes, go check that out.
Yeah.
And again, I've been using those products too, especially the skincare line. Don't forget that.
Oh, yes, skincare. I use it every day.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You're dewy and gorgeous. Okay. So go check that out. And really, that's one of the brands that we love, and we're going to continue to promote it.
And I just one more note about it. So urolithin A has a link to longevity, energy levels, and preserving independence in midlife, which is so important. So go check it out.
So next up is one hot topic. Oh, this was a fun one.
Yeah, menopause.
Oh, boy.
And I didn't put the bloopers in there, but I think
Well, let's just say this at the
Okay.
outfront. Okay. We have bloopers in a lot of our episodes.
Yes.
We do. Because we're delightful.
yes. So we decided to save them and do an end of the year. So you got to stay tuned for
That's
that.
right.
An end of the year booper.
No,
episode.
blooper, not booper.
Poop walk. That was not on purpose,
Lorraine,
people.
if you go on a poop walk, you're going by yourself. I'm just saying.
So Joy and I just had breakfast before we came here. We were talking about one of the episodes where we talked about what was supposed to be a fart walk, but instead I referred to it as a poop walk.
In the middle of a crowded restaurant. That's right. Oh, boy.
Okay, no, we do not want to go on poop walks. That would not be good.
Again, if you're doing that on your own. I'm just saying.
And don't forget to bring a baggie.
Oh, no. This is going right down in the gutter.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway.
Hey, maybe that's some merch we could drop.
Yeah.
Some poop walk baggies. Okay, so
All right, so stay
One
tuned
hot
for
topic.
that
Yes.
blooper episode at the end of the year.
oh my God. I think we might
You
need
never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
well, no comment about that. I think we might need a minute here. Okay.
Okay, so this next episode, we picked a few clips from, and I think there are 3 separate clips that I picked from this one. And so we hope you enjoy them. It's all about menopause
Right.
and how it has made its
Debut.
well, yeah, I guess its debut as far as being on the scene. It really has truly become a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy these clips, and we'll see you afterwards.
What is,
Yeah.
in your opinion, one of the biggest reasons why this is now a hot topic?
Well, I feel there are so many women transitioning into menopause from perimenopause, right? First, we had the baby boomers, who are now, for the most part, postmenopausal. That's a big demographic.
Huge.
And now we have Gen X, who are in the perimenopause, transitioning into postmenopause. These are 2 major demographics, right? So obviously, the medical world has to pay attention now.
That's right.
Big pharma obviously can make a lot of money now, right? Between pharmaceuticals, hormone replacement, and there are all the other capitalistic ways that people are coming forth with products for menopausal women.
Services and things like that. Supplements, all kinds of things.
And most of it, I would say, are a good thing. Obviously, we have to be careful with what we pick and choose, and there's so many products that have come on the market. But I think just because there is this large demographic, and social media, I think, plays a major role in this,
Huge.
because the word is out there. People are discussing the fact that their doctors are uneducated in menopause.
Yep.
That's come forth in the last few years, that we didn't even realize that you go to your OBGYN and you feel like they're the ones that should be helping you with this, and yet they've received zilch.
No training.
in education
and
on
then
menopause.
you get short shrift, but
And it's actually not their fault.
nope, it's not.
But now there's more awareness surrounding that. They are getting educated. Menopause.org, which is the North American Menopause Society, has done a good job of offering certification in menopause. So if you are looking for a healthcare provider, maybe go to that website, menopause.org. Search for a provider that is certified in menopause.
Yep.
That way you'll be guaranteed to see someone who really knows what they're talking about with menopause. And there is something to be said about the medicalization of menopause, where we don't want to necessarily look at it as if we have a disease or a condition, right? This is
Right.
a natural phase of life. And whether you are doing HRT or MHT, menopause hormone therapy, we all want to take that natural approach to really paying attention to what our body's telling us. Use good nutrients as far as food, stress reduction,
Exercise, yep.
movement. All of those things are very important and will help us to get through these years and help us with those symptoms. So you really want to get to the root of what's causing them. As I was doing research for this, I also noted that because there's so much on social media and a lot of it is negative,
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of fear-mongering.
Oh, yes.
They want you to believe that menopause will be awful, so buy this product, buy this, we'll fix this, we'll fix that. Statistically, there's only a small percentage of women that will have severe symptoms.
Right.
Most of them are manageable, but we want to seek help for. But one thing I noticed over these past few years, as people talk more and more about their symptoms, and maybe symptoms are becoming a little bit more intense for some women, I looked at health in general and noted that obesity is on the rise, anxiety is on the rise, and a lot of it is directly linked to our lifestyle, what we're eating, our lack of movement. So it's not just menopause. It's not just our ovaries shutting down.
Right.
There are so many things that lead up to what could possibly be contributing to these symptoms that aren't necessarily menopause.
Well, that's something to think about, definitely. Overall, just setting aside menopause as an issue, health and wellness in this nation has not been the greatest.
I love to talk about postmenopausal zest. Margaret
Right.
Mead, famous anthropologist, coined the phrase because when women reach that phase of life, I like to think of number one, they don't give an F anymore, right?
I sure
About
don't.
a lot of things. Yeah. And they're embracing this new phase of life and they have this new zest for life, whether they're pursuing different things. And we talk about this all
the
the
time.
time. I mean, that's basically where this podcast came
Right.
from. Just pursuing new passions and embracing this time of life. Just came back from a menopause retreat where we were with a group of 7 women who went paragliding. We went to a glacier at 10,300 feet, and we just had the most fabulous time.
Yes.
Spending a lot of time. And I think the youngest of us was maybe 52 and the oldest 66. So a good range of Gen X to baby boomers, and had the best time doing so many things and just embracing this time of life. Yeah.
And I wish I could have gone on that retreat.
Yes.
Boy.
You're coming on the next
Yeah.
one.
Oh, boy. I really
Yeah.
wanted to go. And stay tuned for more information about that because
Yeah.
there's more retreats coming up.
Yep.
But I do think that is really a powerful perspective about the rise of the visibility of menopause, generally speaking. Because women, as we age now, we have more education, more spending power, more capabilities, more freedom, more of a voice.
Yeah.
And we're demanding now things that we need to start looking into women's health issues and to really start helping us with that transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe even come at it from a more positive aspect, even in media, even with the medical side of menopause. Instead of, there's honestly lately, and women have been talking about this online, that there is too much fear mongering going on. Like, if you don't do HRT, you're going to have cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis and what. Yes, it's possible because those things are more prevalent in the postmenopausal years. But HRT is not a panacea. We need to
not for
still do
everybody.
all those holistic things. It's not guaranteed that you'll experience all those things if you don't do it. And so there is that medical side of it that is providing so much fear and anxiety in women where it's not necessary. Yeah.
That's big pharma for you.
Yeah. And I just want women to know, don't fear it. There is help. You have to do the work, honestly. You have to just pay attention to your body, put good things in there, do good things for your body, and you should be fine during these years. There was a woman that I did a menopause podcast episode with, and she recently did a post on Instagram about we are not hormone deficient. As menopausal women, we are not deficient. And that seems to be the message out there. And instead of this is how this part of our life is supposed to be, right? Ideally, our bodies are incredible. They're like these
Yes.
little computers. They were made a certain way. We have all these functions that cleanse and detox and whatever. Everything that we need to do in our bodies, as long as we give it half a chance, right? As long as we're not filling it with poisons and everything else. So
And cereal, yes.
Yeah. And those other toaster things I used to grow up on.
Oh, boy. Love those as a kid. Ooh, that was a treat.
We're not mentioning names here,
but you know what we're talking about.
And as a baby boomer, I just have to say, I think we were the first generation where all this crap came about, right? Because moms went back to work. They wanted to make it easy. So with the good came the bad.
Right.
All of those fast foods.
It's
and
always that
everything
way.
else. Yeah.
Nothing is ever
Yeah.
in black and white, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're deficient in any way. And that the message has to change about that because that's part of what's being put out there in the medicalization of menopause. We are
Right.
not deficient. We have what we're meant to have. And I believe that we can thrive as women during these years. Another reason is because there are so many women who are in the workforce, who are in their menopausal years, many of them in like CEO and management positions, that are demanding that they have accommodations for their menopausal symptoms in the workplace, such as a cooling room or even a napping room or different things that could benefit women during these years. So I think they're demanding more, so it's out there more. There's a lot about menopause in the workplace now.
Particularly in the UK. That article,
Yeah.
which was actually a paper, I can't remember who produced it, from a study of mentions about menopause in the news in the UK, which was very interesting.
They are way ahead of us when it comes to menopause. Yeah.
Way ahead of us. And this paper was a very interesting read, really. And part of the reason it was so interesting is because they talk about trying to, it's funny how there's two sides to every story, right? They talk about trying to extend the working life of women in the UK because it's an economic issue for the country in general.
Yeah.
You need to stay in the workforce longer. Don't just quit working because you're suffering from menopause.
Right.
I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah. Again, we'll put links to all of these articles.
And it was a long paper.
Yeah.
They say at the get-go, we couldn't really go into this. It needs to be researched more. But just skimming the surface of this topic, here's what we found. And it was really interesting to read. Oh my God. That was so funny.
I'm going to pee in my pants. Stop.
Oh,
Okay.
Not on that cushion. Then maybe that's something else we need to market. Some type of
Do I have
cushion
to wear
cover.
Depends when I come?
No. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So, again, we're still laughing about the booper. Okay. So, these clips were so good because they do share practical support tips for you while you're going through this stage of your life. And one of them is laugh as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so good for you. All right.
Cross your legs.
Yeah, cross your legs. But there are tips on nutrition, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, if that's what you're interested in, lifestyle tips, sleep hygiene, all those kinds of things. But really what we want to say is here at Girlish Gurus, you're not alone. We're a community and we're supporting each other. We want you to live your best, happiest, healthiest life or lives. So go check that episode out. Listen to the full episode. Again, there's important links and information in the show notes. So make sure you
And specifically about that episode, that was only part 1. There's part 2, and then there's also part 1 and 2 of menopause supplements.
Right.
So check out those 4 episodes on menopause.
Yes, I forgot about that. We've
So
talked
and we'll
about
put the links. We'll put the links below.
We've talked about that a fair amount.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can find all those episodes, every episode we've ever done, where you get your podcasts. Okay. So,
Segment 4.
all right. This is a good one.
So this is gut health for women, which we discovered when I did a search, and I asked AI actually, what are the top things that women are searching in our age group? And gut health was at the top of the list. So we did an episode about gut health, and our gut health is so important because it is connected to everything, like the vagus nerve, connected to everything in our body, from our mental health to our physical health. So we picked a few sound bites or clips from that episode, and a quote from there is, your second brain needs to be heard. So your gut is your second brain.
Yeah. Normally we hear Lorraine's second brain talking during the episodes.
And occasionally Joy's, but mostly mine. Like we said, we have 4 co-hosts on this on the Girlish Gurus.
Yes. Our stomachs are like, what do you think about this? Okay. All right. Here's the clips. Check them out.
So when we talk about our gut health, especially for women our age during menopause, there's something called the estrobolome. Am I saying that right?
Yes. That sounds correct to me. I can pronounce it, but I don't understand
estrobolome.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. You understand it. I don't.
Yeah. So it is a set of bacteria, good bacteria in our gut that helps to metabolize our estrogen.
Okay. So here's where I got off track in all the materials. I can't get my mind around this entirely. I'm not the sciencey one. So make sure you're explaining this like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old, because I don't really get the concept.
Okay. So I'm going to use this article and we'll post this information on the site. So inside the estrobolome, let me just make sure we're saying this right, and you can edit that part.
You know I'm going to leave that in.
Because this is the way I've always said it, but of course,
think
when
that's
we're
correct.
saying it to somebody else.
I think that's correct. Estrobolome, yeah.
Estrobolome. Yeah, it's estrobolome. Okay. So the major role of it is managing estrogen metabolism, right? So if you don't have the right type of bacteria and fungi that make up the estrobolome, you will not break down estrogen.
Okay, so why is that important?
So if estrogen isn't metabolized, like it goes through this whole system, it gets stored in the body, and that's when it becomes toxic in your body. So if your cells don't use it, it's stored in tissue, and that can lead to cancer.
Right, like fatty tissue, like breast cancer.
And it
right?
could also lead to obesity. So with the 3 different sex hormones, right? Progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. Estrogen levels can go up and up, even though progesterone and testosterone are going down during menopause. So the estrogen levels go up, and if you're not metabolizing it correctly, it can be stored in your body and become toxic. So basically, that's why you need to have those good bacteria and fungi in your estrobolome within your gut to help to metabolize estrogen.
Okay.
And so the research says that because so many people have leaky gut, that permeable gut, or are not eating well, this could be why they're having so many menopause symptoms.
Oh, I see. I get it.
So it's not necessarily menopause that's causing this
Symptoms.
It could be your damaged gut that's causing those menopause symptoms because it's not metabolizing estrogen the correct way.
Wow. Okay.
Just another reason why you should have a healthy gut.
Well, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We are talking about something that is timely for October, beginning of the holidays, Halloween,
It's spooky.
spooky, spooky, and lots of crap.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
Food crap.
Right. We're coming into the holiday season. For
Yeah.
me, Halloween is the start of the holiday season. And what do we do during the holidays? We eat all kinds of stuff, cookies and candy and all that stuff. So, yeah.
And we dress up like this.
That's right. So if you're not looking on our YouTube channel, you really need to because we're wearing exceptional hats. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So happy Halloween.
That's right.
But why we picked this topic is because when we were researching things that women were interested in at this phase of their life, over 50, and this really pertains to everyone, gut health was at the top of their list. So we figured, well, let's go ahead and do it. And a while ago, I did do a gut health class for women. That was probably like 7 years ago. So
Well, you've been talking about gut health for ever since
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the gut is the second brain is what they're saying.
Right.
And now, even more so than ever, it's important to get that gut health under control, especially for women who are over 50.
Yeah. And especially because it affects almost every other part of our bodies, from our heart to our brain, from our physical health to our mental health. It affects everything.
Everything.
And we really need to care for it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think we should just start with like what exactly happens with the gut. So let's start with ingestion. So there are 4 phases of digestion. So the first is ingestion. And Joy already knows the answer to this, but I'm going to ask her anyway. Where do you think ingestion begins?
Well, Lorraine, I have had the benefit of reading all these materials. Now, if I were coming to this without having done that study already, getting ready for the podcast episode, I would have guessed that ingestion is actually putting the food in your mouth and chewing it and swallowing it.
And you would be wrong.
Dun, dun, dun.
But it actually begins when you smell the food or see the food, when your salivary glands actually start to be activated and working, right? So we eat the food.
We see the food and we eat the food.
We eat the food, we chew the food, right? So that begins the digestive process. And then we swallow it through the esophagus, and then it ends up in the tummy, in the stomach. And that is where most of the digestion takes place, where digestive enzymes are released and gastric acid that aids in the digestion of the food.
Right, breaking it down, all that stuff. Boil, toil, and trouble. No,
right. So
in your cauldron. Yeah.
Right, so ingestion, digestion. Then from there, it goes to the small intestine, where then absorption takes place. And that's where all the nutrients come from, where they're all taken from the foods and getting ready then to go move on to the colon, otherwise known as the large intestine. And the final phase of digestion happens, which is elimination.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops.
And at some point, we will actually give you the scoop on poop.
That's right. We've actually talked about poop a fair amount, but yeah.
So
I think that's appropriate. Yeah.
So that's just like how it works, and obviously what you put in your mouth matters.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So from there, we're going to talk about what things does it affect. So we talked a little bit about the brain and your heart. And so how does that affect those things? There's been a lot of studies on all of this. And especially I'm fascinated by the studies on how your gut affects your mental health, like the foods that you eat. And I actually just recently watched a health and wellness roundtable, and they discussed how ultra-processed foods are like destroying our health in this country. Dr. Palmer was on, I can't think what his first name is, and he is a psychiatrist. I think he wrote a book called Brain Energy, and how these ultra-processed foods affect mental health disorders, from OCD to schizophrenia to all different things, and how what you eat really could affect or cure some of those mental health disorders. So there's helpful germs, right? This article is from WebMD, and it's a list of things that affect our gut throughout our body. So the helpful germs that are found in our gut, right, our microbiome or healthy bacteria, and they fight the good fight. That's one of the things they talk about. They do more than just help with digestion. They help keep your bad bacteria in check. They multiply so often that the unhealthy kind don't have a space to grow. And when you have a healthy balance of bacteria, it's called equilibrium. When you have an unhealthy balance, these are just some of the things that could happen. Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and IBS, otherwise known as irritable bowel syndrome, and also gluten intolerance. A lot of people experience gluten intolerance.
Now, would that be like celiac disease?
Yeah, so celiac is an autoimmune disease, and if you have a gluten intolerance, you don't necessarily have celiac. You may just be allergic to gluten. It may affect you in different ways. Celiac disease is where it actually damages the little villi in your small intestine. So basically what happens is they lay flat from the damage, and then they're not able to absorb any nutrients. So if you're misdiagnosed, undiagnosed, then it could lead to like what happened with my two daughters. One ended up with osteopenia, which was the first stage of osteoporosis at age 19. And the other one had severe anemia where she had to go see an oncologist to get that under control. Yeah. Because
That had to be terrifying.
Yeah. Thankfully, they're fine now. They just had to change their diet, which is very simple for people with celiac disease, right? They just basically have to eliminate gluten from their diet. And there's so many things that you can eat.
Yeah, gluten's everywhere. Yeah.
Right. It's difficult, but doable, like eating a whole food diet. So those are some of the ways that having a damaged gut can affect your autoimmune system, right? So how it affects your heart. So there's some kinds of gut bacteria that may be part of the link cholesterol has to heart disease. So when you eat foods like red meat or eggs, those bacteria make a chemical that your liver turns into something called TMAO, trimethylene. Here we go. Okay.
Here we go. Okay.
Trimethylamine N oxide. I think I did that pretty good, but it's TMAO. So this may help cholesterol build up in your blood vessels. And researchers are studying a natural substance called DMB that's in olive and grapeseed oil, and they think it might keep your bacteria from making that.
Interesting. So the plaque that builds up in your arteries, so atherosclerosis, huh? How about that? Look at that. My first try. So when you have atherosclerosis, which is the hardening of the arteries, and that comes from plaque build up in your arteries, right? That is caused by a bacteria.
It could be, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And not to say, because I am a meat eater, I am an egg eater, and they are very healthy, but obviously everything in moderation. And as long as your gut is healthy, probably less chance of those things affecting the cholesterol. It also affects your kidneys. So too much of that TMAO could lead to chronic kidney disease. So people who have the disease don't get rid of TMAO like they should, and that surplus can lead to heart disease. So researchers think that it's possible that too much of it is likely linked to chronic kidney disease in the first place. That's what they're saying. So gut bacteria in your brain. So your brain obviously sends messages all over your body, and researchers believe that your gut may talk back. And I found this so very interesting, right? Studies show that the balance of bacteria in the gut microbiome may affect your emotions and the way your brain processes information from your senses, like sights, sounds, flavors, or textures. Scientists suspect also that the change in that balance may play a role in conditions like autism spectrum disorder, anxiety, and depression, as well as chronic pain, which I find very interesting. So I highly recommend anybody that is experiencing that, And also IBS, because I feel like a lot of people are given that diagnosis when they can't figure out what's happening with their gut or digestive system, to actually pay attention to eating those wonderful healing foods, which we're going to get into shortly, or maybe in the next episode.
Right. Because this is a two-parter.
Yeah. But really paying attention to our gut, what we're putting in our mouth, because I love the saying that whatever you are putting in your mouth is either curing or feeding disease.
Mm-hmm.
So
you are what you eat, too. Mm-hmm. I've heard that my whole life.
Yep.
And don't drown your food. I heard that one, too.
Yeah. Okay, some of the tips from that episode include incorporating fiber-rich foods, fermented goodies, hydration, stress reduction, all of the things that benefit our health in general, but especially our gut health. So gut diversity is important. So we want to have good nourishment. We want to incorporate movement in our life because that also helps with our gut health. And so this all provides a lot of wonderful nourishment in midlife.
Right. And don't forget, it's a connection between your gut, your mind, your brain, your exercise, your sleep. Everything is connected, but that gut health is critical and important.
And one of the things also that we talked about in that episode, and it's in one of the clips, is about our estrobolome and how that is so important as far as metabolizing estrogen in our body.
See, this is why you're so good at the science part. Yes. And all those words. Yes. Very good.
Well, I had to look up that word, but I had to say it because I keep reading it. You know how like you read words and the whole time you're reading it, like even when you're reading books and people's names and then you find out that's not how they said their name. Yes, that happens to me all the time. So anyway, go check out that episode and get a healthy gut.
Yes, because a healthy gut is a happy gut. So segment 5, I love this one. And this is super critical in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
This is when women gather, the health benefits of sisterhood.
And I wanted this to be the final one for this episode because I think it is so important, right?
Mm-hmm. I really do.
Yeah.
Because there's been studies, we've talked about this, that show that the greatest predictor of longevity is community. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't have a community of girlfriends around you as you head into midlife and beyond, well, first of all, we're here to support you with that. Come with us. Welcome, welcome. Come into our community.
Yeah.
But also, that's the main way you can really promote longevity for yourself.
Yeah.
Is having a community around you.
There are scientific studies about it, how it boosts our oxytocin, stress reduction, and like you said, longevity. There are actually studies. This isn't us just saying this is what happens. There are actually studies that prove that this is the truth, that it is very important. So we hope you grab your girlfriends and listen to the next clips. We are talking about the power of women gathering.
I love that.
Yep. And the health aspects of it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which are pretty significant.
Yeah.
And this topic means a lot to me right now. So I know we've talked about retreats and how beneficial they are in the past. We've done a couple of episodes about that. But this is a different take on that retreat trend.
Yeah.
And I really am looking forward to discussing this because my girlfriends have been very, very important to me right now. Very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel the same way. And I know the two of us feel that way about each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whenever we get together, we always feel better afterwards, right?
That's true. It's like a tonic.
Yeah. It's like therapy, girlfriend therapy.
Yep.
And we all need it. And in particular, when we were researching this, there was this great article and the woman's name is Mariam Yassin. And she wrote this last June, and we'll put a link to it.
Yep.
You know, anything that we reference, we will put a link to. But she wrote, "The Power of Women Gathering, Nurturing Community for Health, Mental Well-Being, and Empowerment." And I loved how she even started it. In today's fast-paced and interconnected world, the importance of community and human connection cannot be overstated. Women in particular have a unique need for gathering and creating meaningful communities. Whether through formal groups, social events, or support networks, these gatherings provide numerous benefits for women's health, mental well-being, and overall empowerment. So she has a list of like the different benefits. So we can just go through each one and kind of comment on them. So the first one is creating a supportive environment. And I know for all the ladies listening, you've felt this. You've had to feel this in your life, whether it's a sisterhood, friends at work, a book club, a support group.
Or women in your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sisters, relatives, aunts, people who have been your support network who are women. Yes.
Yeah. So when women come together in a supportive and inclusive environment, she writes, they can form deep connections that provide solace, encouragement, and understanding. Sharing experiences, challenges, and victories can be immensely empowering. In such settings, women find support networks that help navigate life's ups and downs, whether it's through friendships, mentorship opportunities, or professional collaborations. By gathering, women create spaces where they feel heard, validated, and empowered to pursue their dreams and aspirations.
And I have personal experience regarding this right now because I'm going through a season where you want to talk about ups and downs. I have an elderly father, and he's going through physical challenges and difficulties, and I have an elderly father-in-law and mother-in-law, actually. But my father-in-law, he is not doing well, and this has been a very, very trying time for our whole family. Really, it has.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have the support of my girlfriends, that would be bad. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I hear you, because I mean, we all have our challenges, right? And it's nice to have that sounding board, somebody that you can just bounce ideas off of, or even just share. Sometimes you just want to be heard, and you not necessarily need any kind of
response.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just somebody to listen to you. So yeah, I feel it. It's like so important.
And very, very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know in one of the articles that we read, there was a study done on women who had early stages of cancer. And they said that their survival rate was 4 times greater the more friends that they had.
I believe it.
So it really, truly is important to have like that group of friends around you.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Her next idea here is improving mental health. So women's mental health is an area that deserves particular attention, just as we were discussing, as women are more likely to experience mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. And of course, dealing with the menopause world.
Oh,
and we know that
sure.
that's so prevalent, especially during the perimenopause years when hormones are fluctuating and there's a lot of stress levels where you may be the sandwich generation where you're caring for children as well as aging parents. So there's so much stress during those years. So gathering in a supportive community can contribute significantly to mental well-being. The act of connecting with like-minded individuals who face similar challenges helps reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation, which are often precursors to mental health issues. Engaging in group activities such as meditation, yoga, or creative pursuits provides an outlet for self-care and promotes mental resilience.
I love that.
You know what I love the most about that last sentence? Because these are all the things that we talk about all the time, right?
All the time.
The creative pursuits and providing outlets for ourselves, for self-care, and mental resilience is a benefit of all of that.
Right.
Yeah. So we're always having fun. We're always looking for the different things to do.
We are fun hunters.
Yeah.
That's right. We are. And that's another benefit of women gathering. I don't know that I would be such a fun hunter. I mean, I do have other projects that I'm working on, things like that. We've talked about that before too. But this is really an important creative outlet for me. And the two of us get together and we have a synergistic effect on each other. And it builds. And we're always thinking, hey, we should do this, or hey, we should do that. And it just is, you can't buy that. You can't manufacture it.
And what I love about it is we're not just doing it for each other. We're doing it for all
you.
of you.
That's right.
Yeah, because we know so many women who are in the same boat as us.
Right.
That may be seeking something for the second act, this new midlife or beyond senior life.
Right.
And be searching for that special pursuit.
Right.
That purpose.
And just feel like you need some kind of encouragement, like seeing other women doing it.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about this a little earlier. It's kind of funny how what we're talking about and how things are working out and it's all coming together, hopefully to benefit you. But we were talking about how older women are starting to do more podcasts and more creative endeavors, more social media and more YouTube videos, things like that, writing books and just getting out there and saying what they have to say in the way they have to say it. And so that's such a huge value and benefit to me. This has really sustained me through these last, couple of months that have been very, very trying. So it kind of works together on different levels to produce something that I find so valuable, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, and we're here to lift each other up, right?
Absolutely.
We're
And
here
you
to
as well.
support, to support. And yeah, when I say you, I mean you, but it's you, everybody.
Right.
Yeah, we really are here to help everyone, and women in general need to support and lift each other up.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know that at the last retreat, we had that little ornament, the
elephant.
the little elephant, and the story behind how elephants support each other, the elephant in the middle. So sometimes you're the elephant in the middle where they circle around you and they protect you and
Lift you up.
and lift you up
And celebrate you.
if you're hurting.
Yes.
And sometimes you're the elephant on the outside of the circle surrounding someone else. So we each take turns taking care of each other. Sometimes we're in the middle, sometimes we're around the circle and guiding the women in our lives.
Right. We would like to hear from you. We would like to know what kind of friend group you have, what kind of women's circle you have, be it formal or informal.
We would love to have you in our circle.
Yes, absolutely. Please come and join our circle.
Yeah.
You're in it already if you're listening.
Yeah.
And, let us know if there's something else you want us to discuss that you would find useful.
Yeah.
And just keep on listening and supporting us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. We love to have you guys out there and we love to support you. We want to keep looking for those fun things to do. And don't be shy. If you have something you want to say, leave it in the comments. Send us an email if it's something you don't want to leave in the comments. And because we love to hear from you.
That's right. And we're big girls. We can take it.
Yeah. And sometimes we get lonely over here.
We do. Well, we've always got each other, Lorraine. We've got each other. We've got each other. I love that episode. That was such a good episode.
So in particular, Joy and I are very passionate about women's community and sisterhood. And that's why we are planning several retreats that are coming up in 2026. So we hope that you will stay tuned because we know how important this is for women. And if you have never traveled before alone or specifically with women, this is your time to do this because it is amazing. We've done several, and the sisterhood there, it's just women that are experiencing the same things maybe that you are, or if not, you can support them on their journeys. We had women that were widowed, divorced, maybe going through things with children.
Health issues.
Issues. And we all rallied around them. And in that episode, we talked about the circle of elephants. And so about how the elephants circle around one who may be suffering, who needs support. And sometimes we're that elephant in the middle, and sometimes we're the one surrounding them, showing support.
One excellent quote that comes to mind when we talk about this topic is there's medicine in the circle. So you can't discount the synergy and the value. And there's no way to really describe how powerful it is to be with a group of like-minded women who are intent on supporting each other. There's nothing like it.
No.
Yes.
No. So many laughs.
So many laughs.
I mean, we even made a reel
We did.
on the last one. But we had such a wonderful time and connections were made. There are women who met there who are now probably lifelong friends. And several have come on other retreats since then. So Joy and I are heading to Sedona,
Right.
Which is one of the most spiritual places on earth. And the place that we're going to be staying is fabulous.
Yes.
Incredible red rock views that you just can't believe. It's breathtaking. And so I hope that you'll stay tuned because we'll be posting information about that coming soon within the next few weeks. And we hope you'll join us.
Absolutely. We can't wait to meet you and bring you into our circle.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. This has been such a fun episode to put together and to work on. And I just feel like as we come into the end of 2025 and we move into the new year, I'm so lucky and happy that we have this opportunity to do this kind of work and to lift women up like we are.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And I don't know if there's any kind of words that you want to share as we wrap this episode up.
So you are worthy of radical wellness.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Your body is wise, and pay attention to it. Listen to it. Midlife is your magic zone.
That's right. Look out.
And you know we're all about the magic.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all about the magic. So, a couple things. First of all, keep listening, because this is the easiest way for us to reach out to you and share with you information that can help just support you in maybe whatever health thing you've got going on, or just to lift your mood.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is go back, check out all these episodes. They're so good. We are laughing and we're having a good time, and we are just really, that's the best part about all of this, is how much fun you and I have together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. You don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah.
You don't.
And you want to see it in person.
That's right. Because we're delightful.
Damn it.
That's right. You want to make sure you check that out. And also, help us grow our community, please. Share with a friend. Show up in our comments. Let us know if there's something that you would like us to talk about or to research and to deep dive into.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to do that.
If you know somebody that would want to be a guest.
Yes, or if you yourself have a fantastic story that you would like to share. Yes, we are always looking for women who have insight and are vibrant and just want to share with
And
our
our
community.
inspirations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay tuned. We've got lots more fun episodes coming up. We have other things that we're trying out, products, and we're doing the research so you don't have to. And we're not going to promote anything that we don't support 100%.
Yeah.
So go check out our website. We've got some goodies on there.
Yeah. Join our private group, Girlish Gurus Glamorous Getaways.
Ooh.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
On
yes.
Facebook.
And then follow us on Instagram, all our channels. The more interaction we get from you, the more content we can give to you to help you live your best, happiest, healthiest life.
Yeah. Oh, and one quick thing, and we'll pop this in the notes also. It is Crocktober.
Oh, yes.
So we have a wonderful little booklet of 23 Crocktober recipes, healthy recipes that you can get at the link in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely free.
Yes. So go check out our website. Please follow us on our platforms. Go check out the extended version of this episode on YouTube. And like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah, because we need you.
Yes.
We need the support.
We do. But we are also here to support you as best we can. So, all right. I think that's it for today. Thanks for listening and for coming along on our journey with us. And we'll see you in the next one.
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Mwah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments, because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.